What's up, YouTube? This is your boy John from the Jersey Shore, and I am back with you today to give you my review of the 1986 film Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. If you're already a subscriber to my channel, welcome back. It's good to see you again. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button, ring that bell, get that stuff out of the way now. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer was written by Richard Fire and John McNaughton. It was directed by John McNaughton, starring Michael Rooker, Tracy Arnold, and Tom Towles.
Did you really kill your mama?
What?
Did you really kill your mama?
I guess I did.
This is a creepy one, folks. So Henry begins with very slow still shots of cameras panning and showing dead women. Laying on couches, laying in streams, just dead, graphically murdered women. You immediately know and understand that these women are Henry's victims. Soon we meet Tom Towles' character, Otis. Otis is Henry's roommate. He's also, when we meet him, he's actually working at a gas station and he's dealing drugs. Some dude comes in there and he wants to buy some weed off of him. You know right off the bat what kind of character you're dealing with in Otis. The actor Tom Towles is actually the guy who portrayed the sheriff in Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. You know, the dude that got shot at point blank range in the side of his head. You know pretty quickly that you're dealing with two low-level scumbag type of people here in Henry and Otis. Very shortly after the movie begins, we find out that Otis's sister is going to be coming and staying with Henry and Otis. And Tracy Arnold's character, Becky, she seems like her elevator don't go all the way to the top floor either.
I feel like I've known you forever and ever.
So reasonably early on in the movie, there's a scene where Otis is trying to get Becky to bring him a beer. She brings him over the beer after she kind of gives him a bunch of lip about it first. He talks her into it. She gets him the beer. When she brings it over, he grabs her by the arm and pulls her towards him, and he's very obviously getting ready to try and kiss her on the mouth. Henry does not like this at all. He jumps up and grabs Otis by the scruff of his neck and tells him to stop doing that. That's your sister.
Don't do that, Otis. She's your sister.
So after that altercation takes place, Becky tells Otis and Henry, why don't you two go out and get a beer? I'll take care of the dinner dishes. Just go. Seriously, it wouldn't bother me at all. I'll take care of this. You guys go kiss and make up. So after a few moments of very awkward silence, these two goofballs decide to go get a beer. What do you say, Otis? Yeah, I guess I'll go. So they don't show these guys actually out getting a beer, but what they do show is Otis and a woman in the front seat of his car and Henry and a woman in the back seat of Otis's car. It's clearly obvious what they're there to be doing. And the girl in the front seat is struggling around with Otis a little bit, and Henry is struggling around in the back seat with his girl, and he kills her. He breaks her neck. You hear him crack her bones in her neck. And Otis is looking at him like, what in the hell did you just do? Then Henry reaches over the seat and kills the girl that Otis is with. Susie! So like it ain't no thing, Henry just opens the passenger side door, gets out of the car, jumps out of the car, drags the two dead, I'm assuming they're hookers, drags them out of the car, throws them in the alley.
I feel like I know you.
Gets back in the car. Actually, first he pulls Otis out of the car and says, I'll drive. Gets back in the car and takes off. He tells Otis that killing ain't nothing. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You're not going to get caught. As long as you don't do the same thing twice, they're never going to catch you. So now it almost feels like Henry's got an apprentice. He's now going to teach Otis how to become a serial killer and how to not get caught.
Open your eyes, Otis. Look at the world. It's either you or them. You know what I mean.
So in one of the next couple scenes, you see Otis trying to sit in his living room and watch television. The television is one of the old-timey TVs with the rabbit ears on it, where you had actually the dials on the TV. Well, he can't get the reception to come in. He's smacking it on both sides. He's smacking it on the top. He's screwing around with the antenna. It's just simply not working. So he does what any normal thinking guy would do. He jumps up and he kicks the front of the television. So Henry walks in, sees what Otis did. He said, well, what in the world did you do that for? And he said, well, it wasn't working, and I got to have television. So the next thing you see is Henry and Otis standing outside of a bay door. The bay door rises up. They walk through. The bay door closes behind them. They're now in what is basically like a hot shop, like a bootleg shop. This guy's sitting in there selling all kinds of electronics, very obviously illegal stuff, hot stuff, stolen items. So they say, he says, well, what are you guys looking for? And he says, we're looking for a TV. And he said, well, what can we get for $50? He said, you can't get color for $50. You can get this little black and white set. So they go back and forth about the price of the TV, what they can get for $50, what they can get for $150. Then they see a video camera sitting on top of a box. They ask about the video camera. The guy says the video camera's worth $1,000. I'll give it to you for $500. $500 is too much to spend, so they say they don't want it. They just want the $50 television. So what this smart-ass dude doesn't realize he's got standing in front of him are two serial killers. He starts giving them a hard time, saying, you had me show you all this stuff. You had me make you all kinds of deals, and all you're going to do is spend $50?
More than we were planning to spend. I think we should just take the TV.
Okay, which one do you want?
The $50 one.
The $50 one. You guys come in here, I show you this, I show you that, and you creeps got a lousy $50 to spend. You should have stopped me a long time ago. Take the $50 set and get the hell out. I'm a busy man.
Get out of here. He's trying to kick him out of the place. So what they do next is they pick up what appears to be a soldering iron and start stabbing the guy with it. They stab him a bunch of times in the chest with this soldering iron. They choke him, and then they pick up the $50 black and white television and smash it over the top of this guy's head.
Otis, plug it in.
So now they've killed this guy too. Next thing you see is a home invasion. You see Otis sitting on a chair with a woman sitting on his lap. He's got her arms pinned behind her. He's trying to cover her mouth. He's pulling open her shirt. He's pulling up her dress. Henry has the father on the ground, the husband on the ground, hands bound behind his back, a hood over his head. It looks like a pillowcase. And then, unfortunately, their son walks through the front door. Henry jumps up and grabs the son, gets him down on the ground. They wrestle around for a little while, and he eventually breaks his poor kid's neck. And then Otis follows suit. He breaks the kid's mother's neck. And then Henry goes over and stabs the father and husband to death on the floor. This has just gotten way out of hand very quickly. So the next scene of the movie is Henry and Otis sitting side by side on the couch, watching the home invasion and the 3 murders that they just committed. They're able to watch them because they recorded all of that on the camcorder that they stole from the last guy that they killed.
What do you do?
And we'll see it again.
And that's it. I'm not telling you anything else about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. What I will say about this movie is that it's pretty uncomfortable. It's not the easiest movie in the world to watch. I've seen this a few times now, and I do remember that the first time I watched this, which was a pretty good number of years ago, it just sent chills down my spine. It's a brutally violent movie with a couple people who have no regard for human life. It's a disturbing watch. Well, with that being said, Michael Rooker and Tom Towle were fantastic in this movie. They're disturbing and convincing, and just it's troubling to watch these guys do what they do in this film. You actually don't see a whole lot of the violence take place. You don't see a lot of the gore. You don't see a lot of the murder. You see more of the after effects of the murders in this movie than you actually see of the murders. You would think that there would be a lot more blood and gore in a movie about two serial killers and the process that they go to in killing these people. There's quite a few people get killed in this movie, but there really is not a whole lot of blood and guts. It's a very good example of the theory that sometimes things that you don't see are scarier than the things that you do. You don't see a lot of movies where Michael Rooker is actually the star of the movie. As a matter, I'm hard pressed to think of any other movie where he is front and center in the movie. I've seen him in quite a few other films, most recently the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He was also in that Stallone movie Cliffhanger years ago. He was on The Walking Dead for quite a while, but you never see him as star number one in any movie. Front row and center, you just don't see it. He was in this movie, and he did a very good job in it. He didn't have a whole lot of lines. There wasn't a whole lot of depth to this character. He was just basically a emotionless killing machine in this movie, but that's what he's supposed to be. And he pulled that off very convincingly and very, very well. There are not very many movies that I've seen in my life that are made like this. It really is the point of view of a serial killer. If you like messed up movies that are just emotionally disturbing and difficult to watch, this one's for you. Watch Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. All right, folks, that's going to do it for my review of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video, do me a huge favor and subscribe to my channel. I would love for you to go on this journey with me. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, have a kick-ass day, and thank you for watching.